Hello everybody, my dear B.Ed first year, first sem trainees. Welcome to my online learning classes for the subject childhood and adolescence. In first class, we already began the topic that is Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory of human development. In this topic, we have studied first introduction, general concepts, and four important stages of cognitive development. Now we shall discuss one by one the four stages of cognitive development given by Jean Piaget. The first one is sensory motor period, that is 0 to 2 years. Then second one is pre-operational period, that is 2 to 7 years. Third one is concrete operational period, that is 7 to 11 years. Then last one is pre-operational period. This from 11 to 11 and onwards. Let us see the one by one period. First one is the sensory motor stage, that is from birth to 2 years. Generally here infancies are coming. Through the sense ability, infants are doing actions that is called sensory motor. Motor means physical activities. They are doing physical activities through their senses. So this is the first stage of human development. Here basically Jean Piaget considered the aspect of cognitive or intellectual development. Here what are the general characteristics of this period? What infants are doing, their actions or motor activities. Infants construct an understanding of the world by coordinating sensory experiences like seeing, hearing, with the motor actions, that is reaching, touching. Generally, we all are observing small infants they are only doing motor activities like reaching, touching, etc. And generally also the first seeing, hearing, these are the basic motor activities. These are depend on their sense or intellectual basic developmental ability. Then develop object performance through memory. Realize that objects exist even if they are out of sight. Infants progress from reflexive instinctual actions at birth to the beginning of problem solving, intellectual and symbolic language abilities, language towards the end of this stage. But students, in this first period, children's next development in the last stage of this period, you can generally observe that is the development of language or symbols. It is begin end of this stage. Generally infancies try to talk with their guardians or parents. They are starting to talk small words or basic language. This is the development of first period, birth to 2 years. Next, my dear students, pre-operational stage. It is from 2 to 7 years. Here, toddlers and early childhood children are coming. This stage begins when the child starts to use symbols and language. This is a period of development, developing language and concepts. So the child is capable of more complex mental representations, that is words and images. He is still unable to use operations, that is logical mental roles, such as roles of arithmetic. This stage is further divided into two sub stages. Here, in the pre-operational stage, children's development ability, that is language development. They are trying to identify the images also, symbols. Then they are not able to think logical, but here major development is what? Symbols, language, concepts, etc. Here are two sub stages like pre-conceptual stage, that is from 2 to 4 years. Increased use of verbal representation, but speech is egocentric. Okay, here speech is only represent verbal representation, but it is egocentric. The child uses symbols to stand for actions. A toy doll stands for a real baby, or the child role plays mummy or daddy. Then second stage is initiative stage, that is 4 to 7 years. Speech becomes more social, less egocentric. Here the development starts, that is more social and less egocentric. Starting is egocentric, then later is less egocentric. Here the child base their knowledge on what they feel or sense to be true, yet they cannot explain the underlying principles behind what they feel or sense. This is the second period of cognitive development. Then third one is pre-operational stage. This is from 2 to 7 years. Here toddlers third stage is concrete operational stage, that is 7 to 12 years. Here generally childhood and early adolescence children are coming. The concrete operational stage is characterized by the appropriate use of logic. Important process during this stage are: first one is a seriation, the ability to sort objects in a order according to size, shape, or any other characteristics. Example: If given different sized objects, they may place them accordingly. This is the cognitive development in the third stage, that is a seriation. Means example, you can give the different types of things or materials and tell them to organize into their different categories. They are arranging according to the materials or things. For example, fruits, vegetables, grains, etc. They can able to arrange them. That is called seriation. Then transitivity, the ability to recognize logical relationships among elements in a serial order. Example, if A is taller than B and B is taller than C, then A must be taller than C. Okay, transitivity means they can able to think logical relationships among the elements in a serial order. For example, who is taller, who is smaller. For example, A, B, C, D named persons. You can tell them who is taller, who is average, and who is smallest. They can able to tell the transitivity. Okay, yes. Next classification, the ability to group objects together on the basis of common features. The child also begins to get the idea that one set can include another. Example, there is a class of objects called dogs. There is also a class called animals, but all dogs are also animals. So the class of animals includes that of dogs. This is a concrete operational stage. Here, what are the other characteristics of this stage? Decentering, the ability to take multiple aspects of situation into account. Example, the child will no longer pursue an exceptionally wide but short cup to contain less than a normally wide taller cup. Then reversibility, the child understands that numbers or objects can be changed, then return to their original stage. Example, the child will rapidly determine that if 4 plus 4 is equal to 8, then 8 minus 4 is equal to 4, the original quantity. Then conservation, understanding that the quantity, length, or number of items is unrelated to the arrangement or appearance of the objects or item. Then elimination of egocentrism, the ability to view things from another's perspective. Then the child performs operations combining, separating, multiplying, repeating, dividing, etc. Then last fourth stage is formal operational stage. That is from 12 years to 12 years and above, adolescence and adulthood. Especially in this period, adolescents and adults are coming. The thought becomes increasingly flexible and abstract, that is, can carry out systematic experiments. In this last stage, adolescents or adults can able to explain the abstract concepts and can carry out systematic experiments. The ability to systematically solve problem in a logical and methodological way. For example, high school, PU or degree level students, they can able to solve the mathematical problems or science experiments, etc. This is the last cognitive development stage of human development. Okay, they can able to solve the arithmetic problems, geometry, or any other science problems or practicals also can they understand easily. That is mathematical problems or science problems are abstract, understands that nothing is absolute, everything is relative, develops skills such as logical thoughts, deductive reasoning, as well as inductive reasoning and systematic planning, etc. Understands that the rules of any game or social system are developed by a man by mutual agreement and hence could be changed or modified. The child's way of thinking is at its most advanced, although the knowledge it has to work with all change. So, my dear students, this is the last stage of cognitive development introduced by Jean Piaget. Next, very important point, that is educational implications. Implications means educational significance or importance. Why should we learn in B.Ed program these theories? What are the application or what is the significance or importance of this theory? How can apply to in our educational field? First one is emphasis on discovery approach in learning. Next, curriculum absolutely provide specific educational experience based on children's developmental level. Arrange classroom activities so that they assist and encourage self learning. Then social interactions have a great educational value for Piaget. Positive social actions therefore should be encouraged. Instruction should be geared to the level of the child. As the level of the child changes at each stage, the level of instruction or exploratory activities should also change. then simple to complex and project method of teaching. Then co-curricular activities have equal importance as that of curricular experiences in the cognitive development of children. Major goals of education, according to Piaget, are critical and creative thinking. Then, contributions to education. Piaget theory helped educators, parents, and investigators to comprehend the capacity of children in their different stages. Then he made us conscious with the way children and adults think. A lot of school programs have been redesigned taking as base Piaget's discoveries. Piaget made a revolution with the developmental psychology, concentrating all his attentions to the mental process and his role with behavior. These are the points of contributions to education. My dear students, in this class, we had discussed the theory of Jean Piaget of cognitive development. I hope all of you understood. Yesterday, I sent the important notes of this topic or Piaget's theory. All of you should write the notes in your notebook and read and practice very compulsorily. It is very important topic for your exam purpose. I explained through the online class, and also I send the notes also. So I hope you all of you understood this topic. Thank you for watching and listening.